Hey there! If you're into gripping stories that hit you right in the feels, you're in for a treat. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button and join our storytelling crew. Let's dive in. I never imagined I'd be the one to betray someone I loved. But here I am, sharing the story of how I broke my wife's trust and how her silence afterward cut deeper than any outburst could. It all began on a night when my life felt like it was fraying at the edges. Sarah and I had been married for 7 years. On the surface, we had it all: thriving careers, a cozy home, a young daughter, and big dreams. But beneath that, something was fading. We barely connected anymore. I'd stay late at work, buried in projects, while Sarah felt like a ghost in our home. I didn't mean to stray. I wanted to mend things. But one night, while Sarah was visiting her parents, I went out with colleagues. That's when I met Emma. She was warm, engaging, and made me feel seen in a way I hadn't in years. We talked for hours, drinks flowed, and before I knew it, I was at her place. The next morning, guilt hit like a tidal wave. I'd crossed a line I never thought I would. Weiss, I was terrified of losing Sarah. Back home, I tried to act normal, but every laugh felt fake, every moment strained. I hoped I could bury the truth. But secrets don't stay hidden, especially in a marriage. A week later, Sarah grew quieter. When I asked what was wrong, she'd murmur, "Nothing," but her eyes said otherwise. Then came the silence, chilling, absolute. No accusations, no tears, just a wall of quiet. It was worse than any fight, like she'd locked me out of her heart. I braced for her to lash out, to demand answers, but she gave me nothing. Days bled into weeks, and the silence grew heavier. I tried to reach her, apologizing, explaining, but her quiet was unshakable. It felt like a punishment sharper than anger, a mirror reflecting the pain I'd caused. One night, I found her sitting alone in our dim living room, staring at a blank TV screen. I sat beside her and spilled everything: the affair, my loneliness, the shame. I expected her to scream, to leave, anything. Instead, she listened, silent as ever. That silence screamed of a wound too deep for words, a heart guarding itself from more hurt. I begged for a chance to fix us. She nodded, but no words came. Our days became polite exchanges, like strangers sharing a house. The woman I loved was there, but unreachable. I began to see her silence wasn't indifference. It was her heart breaking in quiet. After that night, our home felt hollow. I replayed that night with Emma, hating myself but also facing how empty I'd felt in our marriage. Sarah's silence filled every corner, a barrier I couldn't breach. I tried everything: notes, texts, cooking her favorite dishes, to spark a memory of us. But her quiet was relentless, more crushing than any argument. One evening, scrolling through my phone to escape, I found a text from Sarah. Just a link to our shared cloud album, rarely used. Curious, I opened it. There were photos I'd never seen. Sarah alone, looking drained, with friends, forcing a smile, with our daughter, her eyes soft but sad. Then, photos that stopped me cold. Sarah at a support group for Betrayal and Heartbreak, her notes in the margins, her pain laid bare. I hadn't known she was seeking help, quietly processing my betrayal alone. Her silence wasn't apathy, it was survival. The next night, I found her at the dining table, journal in hand. I sat silently beside her. After a long pause, she whispered, "I don't know how to fix this." Her voice broke, a sound I'd never heard. "I'm so hyped," she said, "but I'm terrified we're gone for good." That was the start of our toughest talks. We laid bare our loneliness, our fears, the things we'd stopped sharing. Sarah admitted she'd felt invisible too, that our silence had been a two-way street. I confessed my emptiness, not as an excuse but as truth. We agreed to try therapy, unsure if we could rebuild. The silence that once divided us began to crack. Healing was messy, days of hope mixed with tears and setbacks. Trust was the hardest to restore, learning to be open after betrayal. Sarah's anger never fully erupted, but her silence showed me the real cost of my actions. It wasn't about punishment. It was about the quiet agony of a love no longer safe. Looking back, my betrayal didn't just fracture our marriage. It broke our ability to talk, to connect. Rebuilding meant facing that silence, understanding it, and learning to hate each other anew. Today, our marriage isn't perfect, and it may never be. But we're talking, really talking, and that feels like a spark of hope. I betrayed my wife, and her silence hurt more than any anger could. It taught me that the deepest pain often comes without a sound.